of yesteryear. We're on the 29th of Tishrei. That's naturally Chav Tet Tishrei in Hebrew. Marks the Hilula of a really great Yemenite rabbi. His name was Rabbi Shlomo Sharabi Z'tl, one of the great Timani rabbis, let's say, of the 1900s, 2000 periods, early 2000s periods, in of itself. Very interesting. He passed away towards the end of October 2011. We're talking about 13 years ago. He was considered one of the great hidden tzaddikim of that specific area in and of itself. He was a Talmid, actually, of the famous Kabbalist Rabbi Mordechai Sharabi, who we've spoken about on various different occasions. The famous Yeshivat Nahar Shalom, based in Nachlaot in Jerusalem. Now let's explore some of the highlights of the great rabbi's life in of itself. So he was born actually from great rabbinic heritage. His father's name was Rabbi Natan Sharabi, and his mother's name was Rabbanit Leah. And it's interesting, he would he also had great siblings within of itself, including Rav David, who happened to be his brother. Among his teachers was Rabbi Yeshayahu Ratzon, Rabbi Yisrael Abu Chatzera. Obviously, we also know him as the famous Baba Sali, and the famous Rabbi Mordechai Sharabi, I believe, was his uncle. He was a Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshivat Nahar Shalom. Among his Talmidim was many great Rabbanim, including Rab Gidon Aharon, Rab Mordechai Lev, and Rab Moshe Shraga. Really, really great Rabbanim in of itself. So let's explore a few more highlights within regards to his life. So he was born in Hebrew year Hey Taf Reish Pei Zayin, I believe in Teman, in the area of Sharav, if I'm not mistaken in of itself. He actually, at a young age, he became very diligent learner of Torah in of itself. And much had within regards to his expertise within regards to halachot. He learned laws within regards to shechita, this kosher slaughtering in of itself, and the Torah Tanistar, as they say, in of itself. He learned, I believe, in yeshivot, in a yeshiva over there, among the great Kabbalists in of itself. I think in the area of Chada in Teman, in that specific vicinity in of itself. And I believe in the year Heitav Shin Tet, he would actually move to the land of Israel, and he would dwell inside, let's say, the dwelling area, the settlement of Chalatz over there. And when it was reported over, when he was at the age of 22 years old, he would actually serve, I believe, in the Israeli army for a period of time. And later on, he would actually move to the area of Yavne over there while he was learning, and there was a huge amount of Torah in of itself. He would also work as a taxi driver, spend a period, let's say a window of time during the week, working as a taxi driver to make a parnasa. Many of the great rabbanim of yesteryear, especially the hidden tzaddikim, they coupled all their huge amount of learnings with jobs. So he was working with a monit. Monit, as they say, in of itself, is a taxi. And he would take, I believe, many of the great rabbis with him, travel them around, including Rabbi Otniel Sharabi, who was I think also a great rabbi in of itself. And while obviously he was driving, he was also learning a lot of Torah, including various different shiurim of the highest level while he was traveling. So what a fantastic idea. I always suggest to everybody, when you're even walking in the street, to learn Torah, the amount of Torah you can learn is absolutely phenomenal at any stage of the day. And at a later stage, around this time period, he would be learning a huge amount of Torah, I believe, through the auspices of his uncle, Rabbi Mordechai Sharabi, who was the head of the Shivat Nahar Shalom. I think it's interesting, for a long period of time, for many years, he would actually learn every Friday, this is before Shabbat, I believe, and until from many hours a day till the Knesset Shabbat, till the start of Shabbat, highest level of Torah learning. And I think he would study under auspices or with the famous Baba Sali, Rabbi Yisrael Abu Chatzera, really, really great rabbi. If I'm not mistaken, they would study together in the Yavne area. He would pray, well, let's say, Ben Hashmashot, it was reported over every single day, Tfilat of Arvit, and Tikkun Chatzot. He would very, very diligent with learning Torah, and was, I believe, also reported over to daven, to do the prayers of nets at sunrise every single day. I believe for a 3-year period, if I'm not mistaken, he was learning day and night, and was very, very much, I think at that point in time, his wife was working, I think, in the Pardesim, the Parnasatam. Pardesim, I think, is, as we translate in English, and in the orchard area in of itself. He would learn and constantly will be flowing with pasukim, verses of Torah in his mind. He was an expert within regards to the Gemara learning, the Talmud Babli in of itself. Also within regards to code of Jewish law, the Shulchan Aruch, the Shmona She'arim, and the Sefer, the book called Etz Chaim from Rabbi Chaim Vital. I believe he was an expert, and obviously was corresponding very much and learning from Rabbi Mordechai Shrabi, I think also the book of Etz Chaim in of itself. And would learn Torah for many, many hours consecutively. It was reported over. And much, much more can be related within regards to him. I believe his first wife passed away, I think, in the year Hey Tafshin Lamed Bet. This was reported over, so there was troubleships through his life earlier on also. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he would spend a 7-month tenure period learning, I think, moving to New York and studying under the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Shnirasahan of Lubavitch. This was at a period of time, and then I think it was a 7-month window where he would actually be in New York, and then he would return in Elul of that next year to the land of Israel, I think in the year Heitaf Shin Lamed Zayin, if I'm not mistaken, and he would take on various, I think he would get married at the end, I think through recommendation of Rabbi Mordechai Shrabi to Rabbanit Le'ah. And I believe she happened to be the daughter of Rabbi Bar Asa Kohen, if I'm not mistaken. I hope I pronounce his name correctly. And he would continue learning at a great level. He was very, very simple within regard to lived a simple life. Within regards to, I think he lived in a small apartment throughout, especially during that time period in of itself, and just learning huge amounts of Torah throughout that specific vicinity. I think he lived in various different areas. He would put on the tefillin, reported over Rabbeinu Tam and Rashi. He would put on, and he would, I think, also dwell later on in the Beit Yisrael neighborhood in Jerusalem, place we visited on various different occasions before, I think in the Chaim Ozer Street, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of times he would give brachot to various people. Various people will come to him asking him for advice, different halakhic questions in of itself. And he was very simple. The Emunat Hashem was absolutely phenomenal in of itself, and really held to the emet of everything. He wanted, he actually, I believe, suggested to everybody in order, one of the great Torah books to actually study in of itself was Reshit Chochmah, if I'm not mistaken. And he actually really told everyone, urged everyone to say the tefillot of Tikkun Chatzot every single day. Torah learning at night and praying at nets, as we stated before, and it was very careful within regards to all the brachot in of itself. And he would actually quote, I think, various different great Kabbalists of Yetzirah, including Rabbi Yosef Gigdilia, if I'm not mistaken. And much more can be said within regards to that, which we have to state over on another time, potentially. It's actually interesting. He would also travel, I think, all over the country to learn Torah, to do tikkunim. I think he would visit, especially on Lag BaOmer Meron, if I'm not mistaken, and really would... do like huge amounts. It's actually interesting. I believe he felt that he prayed a huge amount that there'll be the redemption will come upon Am Yisrael, and Sanhedrin will exist, and we will be at a stage where we can say Hallel on Independence Day and on the Jerusalem Day in of itself. And he passed away, I believe it was on the Hebrew date in of itself was in Hey Tafshin Ayin. I think it's through a heart attack, unfortunately, sadly. And I think it was actually in the year Hey Tafshin Ayin Aleph. He was feeling more weak. That was possibly the warning signs earlier on. And I believe he passed away in the year 2011. He passed away and was one of the really great rabbis during the 1900s, early 2000s in of itself. And he would be buried in Israel, in the country of Israel. Naturally, that's where he was living in of itself. Really great rabbi of yesteryear. And we actually covered a video on various different great rabbis from the, let's say, the Rabbi Sharabi's families in of itself. Many great. I think his funeral procession actually started from the Beit Yisrael neighborhood in Jerusalem. That's obviously naturally very near, I think, Ezrat Torah, near the Geula neighborhood. And he was buried in Har HaZeitim, the Mount of Olives, burial plot. So he passed away here on Chavtet Tishrei, the 29th of Tishrei. Please don't forget to light candles in the great rabbi's memory, one of the great rabbis learning in Nahar Shalom, the famous yeshiva in Nachlaot, which we spoke about on many occasions before. One of the great prayers, one of the hidden tzaddikim of this year, Rabbi Shlomo Sharabi Z'tl. So wishing you all blessings from Israel. Please don't forget to like the videos, share the videos. We're a community here. We've covered around 460 great rabbis of yesteryear. And be well, everyone. Wishing you blessings from Israel.